Welcome back, bookworms and word enthusiasts. I'm Alex.
And with me is my fantastic co-host, Ben. And I'm Ben, ready to unravel more of Katherine Applegate's brilliant writing in The One and Only Ivan. Today, we're taking a deep dive into pages 67 through 75, covering chapters from Ruby's story to comfort. We're going to pull out those fantastic worth-learning sentences and vocabulary words, and really discuss their meaning and how to use them.
Exactly. These chapters are packed with emotional connections and subtle shifts in Ivan's perspective, and we want to explore that language with you. Let's jump right in with the chapter Ruby's Story on pages 67 and 68.
Alex, that first sentence sets up a great contrast. It's about me and how I fell into a hole, a big hole. Humans dug it. No, Bob, Ruby interrupts. You're wrong. These humans helped me. This dialogue introduces a complex view of humans, showing they can be a source of both cruelty and kindness.
And then Ruby makes a profound statement. Bad humans killed my family, and bad humans sent me here. But that day in the hole, it was humans who saved me. Ruby leans her head on Stella's shoulder. Those humans were good. This implies Ruby's ability to distinguish between good and bad humans, which challenges the animal's simple, cynical view of people.
For vocabulary from this chapter, let's learn skeptical. Its English definition is not easily convinced, having doubts or reservations.
You use skeptical to describe someone who is doubtful or questions things. For example, Bob was skeptical of Ruby's story about the good humans.
And the second word is unpredictable. Its English definition is not able to be predicted, likely to change suddenly and without warning.
You use unpredictable to describe something that is impossible to know ahead of time, often making it difficult to deal with. For example, the weather in spring can be very unpredictable.
Alex, let's move on to the chapter A Hit on page 69. Here, Ruby takes the stage alone for the first time.
The first worth-learning sentence is, I don't know whether to be happy or sad. This implies Ivan's inner conflict. He is happy that Ruby is successful, but sad that she's being used for entertainment, just like Stella was. It's a very complicated feeling.
And then the narrator says, Ruby is a hit. This is a short but powerful sentence that captures the moment and the beginning of Ruby's captivity as an entertainer.
For vocabulary from this chapter, let's learn coup, verb. Its English definition is to make a soft, murmuring sound, typically of pleasure or affection.
You use coup to describe a soft sound often made by people to express love or affection, especially to babies. For example, the mother began to coo softly at her newborn baby.
And the second word is ragged, adjective. Its English definition is of a sound, harsh and disjointed.
You use ragged to describe a sound that is uneven, harsh, or it sounds like someone is out of breath. For example, the old man's breath was ragged after climbing the stairs. Then, we get to a huge turning point in the chapter Worry on page 70.
This is where we see Julia's compassion. She says, Do you think she's okay, Dad? Look at the way she's breathing. Can we call Mac? I think there's something really wrong. This dialogue highlights Julia's genuine empathy, contrasting her immediate concern for the animal with Mac and George's focus on money.
And then we hear Mac's true priorities when he says, Mac says the vet's coming in the morning if Stella's not any better. He says he's not going to let her die on him, not after all the money he's put into her. This implies that Mac's decision to call the vet is not based on care for Stella, but on a financial investment.
For vocabulary, let's learn grim, adjective. Its English definition is uninviting or depressing to the sight or mind. You use grim to describe a situation that is unpleasant or without hope. For example, the family faced a grim situation with no money and no home.
Let's talk about the promise on pages 71 and 72. This is a pivotal moment in the story.
It is. Ivan promises Stella something huge. He says, I want you to promise me something. I promise it on my word as a silverback. This is a promise to himself, made with the authority of his true identity. And the promise is about Ruby. Stella says, she needs a safe place, Ivan. Not here. This dialogue implies that the Big Top Mall is not a home, and it solidifies Ivan's purpose to find a better future for Ruby.
For vocabulary, let's learn hoarse. Adjective. Its English definition is of a voice sounding rough and harsh, typically as a result of a sore throat.
You use hoarse to describe a voice that is rough or raspy. For example, he was shouting so much at the game that his voice became hoarse.
Now we get to the chapter Knowing on page 72. This chapter is all about Ivan's profound emotional state.
It is. He says, I know that Stella is gone. I know it the way you know that summer is over and winter is on its way. I just know. This implies Ivan's profound and instinctive knowledge, showing his deep bond with Stella and a shift from a logical to an emotional understanding of his world.
And then the heartbreaking metaphor. Your gorilla hearts are made of ice, Ivan, she said, her eyes glittering. Ours are made of fire. Right now, I would give all the yogurt raisins in all the world for a heart made of ice. This implies Ivan's deep grief and sorrow, as he wishes he didn't feel so much pain after Stella's passing.
For vocabulary, grief, noun. Its English definition is intense sorrow, especially caused by someone's death.
You use grief to talk about the deep sadness or sorrow a person feels after a loss. For example, the whole family was filled with grief after losing their grandmother.
Let's jump right in with the chapter 5 Men on page 73.
Ben, that first sentence gives us a shocking piece of news. Bob heard from a rat, a reliable sort, that they tossed Stella's body into a garbage truck.
That's a grim image, Ben. It implies Stella's fate was undignified and careless, which is a sharp contrast to her noble and wise nature.
And then there's this detail. It took 5 men and a forklift.
This implies Stella's immense size and power even in death, making her a tragic and powerful figure.
For vocabulary from this chapter, let's learn reliable, adjective. Its English definition is consistently good in quality or performance, able to be trusted.
You use reliable to describe something or someone that you can depend on. For example, the old car was very reliable and never broke down.
The second word is tossed, verb. Its English definition is throw something somewhere lightly, easily, or casually.
You use tossed to describe throwing something carelessly or with a sense of disrespect. For example, he tossed the empty bottle into the recycling bin.
And finally for this section, the chapter Comfort on pages 74 and 75. This chapter shows Ivan's painful honesty.
It does. Ivan is struggling to find the right words for Ruby. He says, all day I tried to comfort Ruby, but what can I say? That Stella had a good and happy life? That she lived as she was meant to live?
This implies Ivan's painful honesty and his inability to lie to Ruby about Stella's life. He knows that he cannot comfort Ruby with false words.
But he finds one small truth he can hold on to, that she died with those who loved her most nearby. At least the last is true.
This implies that the love of her friends gave Stella's death some dignity and meaning, which is a powerful piece of comfort for Ivan to hold on to. For vocabulary, comfort, verb. Its English definition is to ease the grief or distress of, console.
You use comfort when you try to make someone who is sad or upset feel better. For example, he tried to comfort his friend after she lost her pet.
The second word is console, verb. Its English definition is to console someone at a time of grief or disappointment.
You use console to try and make someone feel better when they are sad. For example, the teacher tried to console the student who was upset about his test score.